Let's make this fun little sign that's perfect for a shelf, desk, or gift. Today, I'll show you how I made it using the HTVRont Auto Press 2, and I'll share a few tips so you can get perfect results every time. Hello, I am Katie from thecraftyblogStalker.com, and I am super excited about this project today. If you're new to my channel, make sure and hit that subscribe button. Today's video is sponsored by HTVRont, and I am so excited to show you what this machine can do. I've got most of the supplies laid out here that I will be using, and of course we have the HTVRont Auto Press 2. And don't worry, I do have a complete supply list with shoppable links either in the description of this video, in the blog post, or through this QR code. This is my wood sign blank that I'm using. It is 8.8 by 6.1 by 1.5 inches. And before I add my iron-on to my wood sign, I want to paint it. I've got two colors here. I've got white and this coral, and I'm gonna wash both of the colors, and the coral is going to be around the edges. So I'll start with the white, and I'll put some white on a paper plate here. And then I've just got a bottle of water, and I want to water down my paint just a little bit. I've got a sponge, and I'll keep a paper towel handy. I want a little bit more water than that, and I'm just gonna paint that on. And I will do a couple coats of this. And I like whitewashing because then I can still see the grain of the wood. There's one coat, and I'll probably only do one more coat. There we go. That looks really good, and you can see the contrast with the sides of the sign. And now I'm going to do the sides, but before I do the sides, I'm going to tape it off just because it'll be really hard to get any pink specks off because I can't paint over it. So I'm just going to take some tape and tape off that edge. And I want to make sure that that tape is pressed down good so no paint seeps underneath it. So my entire frame is taped along the sides, and I'm gonna whitewash again, this time with the coral color. Add some water, a clean sponge, and do the same. I want to be careful that I'm not getting my fingers in the paint and touching the front of the sign. And with this coral, I didn't add quite as much water, so I can do this in just one coat. I'm gonna let this dry for just a minute. Paint is dry to the touch. So now I can take off my tape, and we have that nice clean edge all the way around the sign. So now we are ready to cut our heat transfer vinyl. I have the design in my cutting software. I just need to size it. And remember, my sign is 8.8 by 6.1, but I don't want the design to go edge to edge. So I want to make it a little bit smaller. So let's go about an inch smaller so it's a 1/2 inch in on all sides. If we make our width 5.1, that makes our height 7.28, which is much more than an inch. To be the inch, it would need to be 7.8. So let's just see. I usually don't like to change proportion, but we're just gonna see. So I'm gonna take this and duplicate, so I have two, so I can see them side by side. And we're gonna change this size on that one. I'll highlight it. It's already 5.1. I'm gonna unlock the proportion, and I'm gonna change that to 7.8. And let's just look. I don't think that looks too stretched at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one, the 5.1 by 7.8. And we will get rid of that one. I'm cutting 3 different layers of heat transfer vinyl, so it's really important that I remember to mirror. All of my heat transfer vinyl is cut, so now I just have to weed. I like to use this weeding tool with the little hook at the end. This is my favorite weeding tool, and I just start in the corner and peel back. You may be wondering why I'm using heat transfer vinyl on a wood sign instead of regular adhesive vinyl. Adhesive vinyl does not really like to stick to wood. You can get it to stick to wood, but it's kind of a pain. But heat transfer vinyl does stick to wood. So it is a great alternative for wood signs. Plus, it's just so much easier to weed because you can just pull it back. If I were to do this with adhesive vinyl, I would be losing all of these little pieces. I'm gonna turn it over and double check, make sure I got all the little areas. Some of those leaves, I need to go in with my weeding tool. I'll take a look again. And that looks really good. I just want to get that piece off there in the corner so it doesn't attach to my sign in a spot I don't want it to. So there's our first layer. I'll do the same for the rest of my layers. All of my layers are now weeded, so I can bring in my HTVRont Auto Press 2. I've plugged in the heat press so I can go ahead and turn it on. It does have this little screen here that you can tilt all the way up. I'm going to keep it down a little bit so I can see it and so you can still see it. There are some presets with the machine for different types of iron-on materials and for sublimation. These presets cannot be adjusted. But then there are some other presets that you can save your favorite time and temperatures to. For my project, I want my temperature to be at 300, so I'll hit temperature and go up to 300. Then for my time, I want to be at 40 seconds. And you can change the amount of pressure. Right now it's at 170 pounds. With wood, I want a lighter pressure. So I'll select that and go down. And I'm gonna go to the lowest, which is 50 pounds of pressure. You'll notice here on my screen, I have that A with the circle in it, and I can turn that on and off by hitting that button. And that is the automatic function. So when I put something on the tray and I slide the tray all the way in, that will automatically lower the heat press and start the timer. And once that timer is done, it'll lift the heat press. I'm gonna go ahead and just lift it now because I don't need it going. But I love that function. The automatic function is awesome. I've got my sign. Now there is about 1.77 inch clearance of thickness that you can go with this heat press. However, with the heat pad that's on here, you cannot do that full amount. This is 1.5 inches wide and I am getting stopped, which is totally okay because I can take off that heat pad. I don't need it for wood, and then that slides all the way in, no problem. Before I apply the design to my sign, I'm gonna press it just for a quick 5 seconds, and this will just pull all of that water out of the wood. Now I have my timer set for 40 seconds, not 5 seconds, so I'm just gonna watch and hit that button once it's been 5 seconds. Got all of my weeded designs, and my green layer is the layer that is on the outermost edge and top and bottom. So that is the layer that I am going to put down first. I'm gonna grab a ruler just so I can make sure that I'm about even. I am okay with not exact, but I want to be close. That can come down just a little bit. So when I close this tray, the heat press will lower and my time will begin automatically. That's so cool. I love that feature. That's really great if you're doing lots of different projects, so you don't have to sit and babysit the machine, because once the timer is up, that heat press will also rise automatically. There it rose. I'm gonna pull it out. And with wood and heat transfer vinyl, you want to do a cool peel. So I need to wait for my liner to become cool to the touch before I can peel it off. Okay, that liner is cool to the touch. So I'm just gonna test a little bit of it. Make sure that heat transfer vinyl is sticking to the wood, not to my transfer sheet. And that is coming up really good. Very, very nice. Next, let's do the red layer. So this one I'm going to position. So now I'm gonna do the same thing and just shut that tray again. And again, the heat press will apply that heat and pressure. Open up that tray, and again, we're gonna let this liner cool. It needs to be cool to the touch before we can peel that back. That liner is cool to the touch, but the wood sign is still really, really warm. So I'm gonna let that sit just a little bit longer. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and peel that. Going slow at first to make sure that it sticks to the wood. And that is peeling really well. Oh, it looks so good. And then for the last little bit, we have our words. All right, that looks good. Yay, I'm so excited. So for the last time, I'll shut my tray and we'll do the last press. Again, we're gonna let this liner cool before we peel it back. That is feeling pretty cool to the touch. So again, I'm just gonna start slow. And that looks so good. Look at our new sign. That is so cool. If it requires pants or bra, it's not happening. This is my motto. I'll put my mat back on. And there's just little hooks underneath the tray there that those hook onto. And I'll turn my machine off. And now I can put this away. Here is the finished sign. Isn't that so cute? I think it turned out so good and it will look awesome sitting on my desk. And another big thank you to HTVRont for sponsoring this post. I really do love the HTVRont Auto Press too. It is a great machine. Be sure to visit HTVRont.com to purchase the Auto Press too, and visit the CraftyBlogStalker.com so you can grab this free SVG so you can make your own sign, put it on a t-shirt, a tumbler, lots of possibilities with this design. Thanks everyone. Bye and happy crafting.